Hello and very warm welcome everyone. This is a part 2 of the video I recently just posted. I am continue working on the cards using my Jolly season collection now. I am starting from taking a 6x6 card inch white card base, and I am slightly trimming it so it will be easier for me to later on pack it in the envelope. I have this lovely sentiment which is all dressed up with a nice ephemera elements all around, and for this card I've decided to actually use one of the circular die to cut around it, and now I am grabbing additional set. This is from Card Making Magic, and I am just adding it because it has this beautiful border die, and I want to have a gentle touch of the gold underneath my sentiment, so I am just using the slightly larger die. But if you don't have many dies, what you can do, you can also use your embossing ink pad and then smear the embossing ink around the edges of your circle and sprinkle some silver or gold embossing powder. This will give you a very beautiful detail as well. Now I am choosing this pattern paper and I am trimming it to be slightly smaller, like 1/8 of the inch smaller than my card base. And here this is how the main image will look like, but I want to add the layer of the white embossed panel in between the sentiment and the paper. And for that I have this very old embossing folder from Embellish's, I think. I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry, the packaging's been long gone, and I don't know. But any embossing folder, it's not necessarily have to be Christmassy as well. Any design will work here as well. If you've got this like a little snowflake, or maybe like some pattern like a chevron or trellis, this will work well here as well. As you can see here, I trim my embossed panel after I emboss it, so that way I could have the perfect size of it. Now I am taking this pattern paper and I am placing it on the scissors trimmer. And by the way, one of you, my friends, has been already asking me, like a couple of you actually, not one, but I had a few questions. I have this review video on my channel if you would like to know about this trimmer. It has good and bad sides. I like to use it for some particular things, but not for everything. For example, I am keep switching it between this trimmer and my guillotine because I like guillotine better for cutting, but I'm using this trimmer for all kind of frames, aperture, things like that. I'm also switching back and forth because I prefer working on my very old Marta Stewart scoreboard, but this one's also having the score lines as well, so it's just a matter of being used to. I personally think that I'm getting better result with the guillotine, but having a trimmer can be also very helpful, especially with some three-dimensional cards, things like that, when you have to cut some openings and some lines inside of your design paper. That comes handy. So here, as you can see, I adhered the frame on top of my embossed image, and now I will be attaching this gold and the sentiment together. So I will have this very thin layer of gold. I think it's just helping the sentiment to stand out slightly better. And because it's a gold mirror cardstock, I'm pressing very firmly, making sure that the adhesive will actually dry and will have the proper grip. Now, one of the viewers here, and I'm sorry I forgot the name, but I'll try to trace back the comment. She mentioned that whenever you are putting something on top of the gold mirror cardstock, you can actually use a little piece of the sanding block, and that way you can kind of create this porous surface for a better adhesion. This is something I think it will be phenomenal, and I need to try it myself, but it's probably something which will be working really well. It's just happened I didn't had any sanding block on my hands, but definitely next time I will adhere something on top of the mirror cardstock. I will try to gently, like, rub on the surface of the mirror cardstock, and I think this is something which will work really well. But I've never tried it myself, but it's definitely something to try if you're having a trouble to adhere elements on top of the gold cardstock. Here I am finishing off this card by adding a couple of the poinsettia and some leaves, and this is super simple, super quick and easy card to do. This will be great for the mass producing as well. Definitely this is design which you can use for all year round, not necessarily for Christmas, but super simple. Here you can see all three cards together, and now I'm gonna be creating my fourth and final card for this crafting session. I'm starting from taking a piece of the A4 size card and I'm scoring it in half. That will give me A5 size card. Here again I am slightly trimming the edges, and now I have this fancy die. I don't know where is it coming from, but it has those two bits, top and the bottom, and it's kind of like a snowflake design. So I am adding it on top of additional card, and this is the same watercolor paper which I've used for my card base. I am adhering them with the help of the purple tape, just so they stay in place. And now I am trimming additional piece of the design paper to use as my mat on the top of the card base. So here you can see once I cut this bit, it has this beautiful element, but if you don't have anything like that, you can use other border punch or a border die, or maybe some interesting dolly. If you've got some fancy die cut shape, this is also something you can use. Now here I'm trying to figure it out how to cover this piece with the design paper. So firstly I am trimming the length of the paper, and it's slightly larger than what I actually need. And here is the trick. Sometimes we are missing that separate cutting line die, which will help us to create lots of other elements. But in that case, you can always put your die down on the paper and just trace it with the pencil. Here you can see how easy it is to create this following line, like a cutting line. I'm following my pencil mark, and within a matter of couple seconds I'm actually creating myself additional layer to add on top of this die cut piece. Now if you are worried that your cutting line it's not gonna be perfect, again it's gonna be hardly visible, that it's not super matching. But if you are struggling, like you would like it to appear super perfect, what you can do once you cut your line here, you can take a pair of the scissors and slightly distress the edges. If you just kind of like very gently go over the edge with your scissors, this will hide all the imperfection and no one will actually notice that this wasn't the die. You were just tracing it with the pencil and cutting it with the scissor. Here my clock just finished. As I've mentioned, I am putting myself on this 1 hour frame, and sometimes if I think like, okay, I need a couple more extra minutes, I'm resetting the clock. That way I know exactly like whether I'm using like 1 hour and 10 minutes or 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's not as important because I am not trying to concentrate on the time, but it's good to also give you, my friends, the time frame. Sometimes I've been hearing that from many of you, especially who are just starting crafting adventure, that you see someone, other crafters video, and you're just thinking like, oh, they created so quickly and it took me like 3 hours or something. If I am creating complicated project and it takes up to 3 hours, I will definitely let you know, because it's good to have this realistic expectation. Here I am creating 4 cards in 70 minutes, but first of all, I have all elements pre-cut, and secondly, once you start making lots of the cards and you create them daily, it's like with running, you kind of exercise your creative muscle. And for those of you who say like, oh, I don't have ideas, I don't have, start from something simple, and I guarantee it to you, my friend, that you will learn yourself how to create more and more ideas. Sometimes it's just I am creating the card and instantly in my head is this thought that, oh, if I will do aperture different way, or I use different shape or something, this will create different card. So with the time, as more you creating, the more ideas will be popping up to your head. Now I have this set of the sentiment, but they were too large for what I needed, so I reprinted them on a smaller A5 size card, and that way I have the additional set of the sentiment, which I can cut to a smaller pieces and either use them on a smaller card, or like here, I just wanted a teeny tiny sentiment to put on the front of one of my poinsettia flowers. So once I cut my sentiment, I am also creating this kind of like a fish banner on one end of the sentiment, and this is gonna be a nice decorative thing to add to my sentiment, so this will be looking prettier. As you can see here, all cards created today, or within those 2 videos actually I should say, they are simple, they are easy ideas, something which you can create on the go whenever you like to create more stress-free cards, especially before the Christmas time. I highly recommend you to do a little extra preparation, spend 1 or 2 days to cut a couple of the extra flowers, maybe if you have some like a branch, pine cones, things like that, some Christmas dice, just cut out the bunch of these as well, or use some ephemeral elements, pre-cut those. That way you'll be able to create the bunch of the cards within one sitting. So here I am adding this lovely whale, and I really enjoy, like I really love, it has this snowflake pattern on its skin. I don't know if you noticed that, but I really like how it looks like. Now I have this additional sentiment and I'm trying to find the perfect position for it, and once I'm happy, then I am adding 2 dots of the hot glue and I am kind of adhering it with a little arch on top of the poinsettia. Then I am using additional 2 flowers, and I also have a couple of the flowers on the bottom right next to the lighthouse. So this is gonna be another idea. I am creating the whole playlist with this design paper, and this is also additional announcement to all my friends who has purchased my collection. If you are creating some YouTube videos and you will create something with this collection, give me a shout so I could add your video to the public playlist with this design paper so other friends can see it as well. Here are close-up look on all 4 cards I've created that day, and additional extra close-up look on these 2 particular cards. I hope you enjoyed this video and it sparks some joy, and if you do, please don't forget to give a like, to say hi in a comment. That will be me for today. I will love to see you shortly. Stay blessed and bye bye.